then started at 6 o'clock at night, finished 9 o'clock the next morning. So now 9-hour day, 15-hour night shift. Now, what would be handy for them is if we had nice, neat 12-hour shifts. So we do 2 days, 2 nights, 4 off. Night shift, not complaining about it. 2 days, 2 nights, 4 off. If they're 12-hour shifts, it means that if you could work a day or a night, it wouldn't make any difference as long as you work 4 of them, which is 48 hours, and I think average is 42 hours over, annually. So, however, if for some reason one of these nice quiet stations, they decided to close them at night and not have any fire cover there, all those people that work at that station now can go and work and do at the other stations where they haven't got enough people. So at the moment we do something called standbys. So we always check our figures every day of how many people are on. If we're over, then they can send some of those people to another station, especially if they need managers. So that's how we manage. We are a resource as well as firefighters at a station. It's always handy that we all work together. It's nice when we work together. That's how we learn, and we work as a team. However, if it became 12 hours, then we're much more flexible of a resource as personnel, and we can close stations at night, move people over there. So we knew we didn't want that to happen. Of course we didn't want to keep all the stations open as much as we can. And we didn't want to go for 12-hour shifts. We didn't want to change our shifts at all. So, but because the resistance was there, we were mounting a campaign. The Commissioner decided under the rules, I can't remember what's the rule, can't remember what it's called now, but there was a trade union rule where it was basically they can pretend to consult, not negotiate but consult, and that at the end of a 3-month period, 90 days, isn't it, that they can impose whatever they want, and that's what they wanted to do. They were going to but that imposition would have involved terminating all our contracts and issuing new ones, and if we didn't like the new contracts, then so that's what we were fighting against, and I fought against that. No to bullying, no to mass sacking. I was a station manager at the time, and I pushed the boundaries. I put some stuff on Facebook. I said that we shouldn't be bullying our staff. I said it was poor leadership. I said a few other things. I was accused of bullying and harassment myself. I was then suspended, found myself suspended as a station manager. I went into work one morning and was called into a meeting and told that I was being suspended. And in the end I was suspended for 8 months, I think. In the end I was accused, I had 5 allegations and another allegation against me, 6 allegations against me. It was suggested I was taken to a stage 3, which means they could dismiss me. They didn't dismiss me. They said on mitigation that I shouldn't be dismissed, and that so in the end I was demoted 1 rank, so I went from station manager to watch manager, which hence that's why I'm back on a fire station minding fire engines again, and I had an 18-month final written warning. However, I mean, which was all fine in the end. It wasn't good to be threatened with dismissal, but the irony of it was that as a station manager, there's not very many women firefighters. We're still very few and far between, essentially. I've been in the job quite a long time. We're less than 10% of the workforce, even thinner on the ground at senior management levels, and I was supposed to be changing the face of middle and senior management. Obviously I wasn't quite over on the dark side as much as they'd like me to be. However, the irony was that 2 days before that I went to get my Queen's Fire Service Medal. I was given a Queen's Fire Service Medal. Now, there was only one other woman that's ever got them. It's usually given to senior officers or chief officers and stuff like that. I was obviously considered, just the right material, and I think they thought that I think that my principal managers felt that because I tried to push the boundaries, I tried to do the right thing at work, I tried to support women firefighters, the underrepresented groups, and anybody really, wherever I can, and I also tried to make it a fairer place to be. And so the irony was that 2 days before, this was before the dispute, you get to know that you're being given a medal quite some time in advance. But by this time, I'm now fighting with the firefighters and saying that as managers we shouldn't be treating our people. We were threatening people with 20%, 40%, 60% stoppage of pay as well if they didn't agree to do things the way management wanted it. And we as an organisation, when I say we, the Fire Brigade management took over £500,000 off people in stoppage of pay during that dispute as well. And I said it's a horrendous way of dealing with things, horrendous industrial, way of conducting negotiations and stuff with threats and bullying, and at the same time saying that we have to embrace people as leaders. So I was obviously embracing people enough, and I was given the Queen's Fire Service Medal. I'm not a royalist or anything like that, but I just thought, not many women get these things, and you never know, it might just come in handy. And I did. I went to Buckingham Palace. My children were very proud to see me get that as well. I had my own little protest still because I wore a bow tie instead of my normal tie. Because I think wearing ties are ridiculous, especially for women at work. And so I did wear a sparkly bow tie, and I think that might have been the
final straw.
The final straw. I think apparently the rumour was that the chief officer went Gary. Nobody ever said anything to me though. That wasn't it funny? It was really fun. I was in the papers and everything, and it was sparkly. And apparently my son said, "What did you say to the Queen? Because she seemed to laugh a bit more than she did with the others." I just don't know. I didn't notice her giggle or anything. But apparently, according to my son, who'd seen everybody else go through, she seemed a bit more entertained. And I said, "You know what? It might have been a bow tie." Because on Have I Got News for You the following week, Joe Brand said, what can the Queen spot? What does the Queen hate and can spot at 200 yards? And apparently they're clip-on bow ties. So maybe it had the right effect. It was nearly the nail in my coffin, the final nail in my coffin, but I quite like the fact that I did it. And nobody even... Pardon?
Could have had one of those at work.
Wouldn't that be hilarious? Yeah. I mean, I do... Sometimes people are lacking in a bit of sense of humour. but even to this day, nobody said a bloody word to me about it. It's really hilarious. Now, I know I ramble on, I'm sorry, and I go off on a tangent, but the bow tie thing, so I got my medal, 2 days later I go into work, I get suspended. There you go. I'm a feather in their cap and a thorn in their side. Now that's ages away, because in January, this January just gone, my 18-month final written warning was up. So I eventually went to my hearing. I then went to appeal, and while I was appealing, in the few weeks between my hearing and my appeal, I remained as a station manager, which was quite nice. But what happened, in the workplace with it's terrible, isn't it? With the frontline troops at fire stations, I've never had a nicer time. Everybody was lovely, and everybody has been lovely ever since. And in the end, I went to my appeal. It wasn't upheld. One of the allegations that was added on, I got taken off. Meant nothing really. So the following week I went back. I said, "Look, right, what's going to happen to me now at the end of my appeal hearings?" You'd have thought it had two outcomes. My appeal was going to be upheld, or it was going to fall, and then I was going to be demoted. So I was either going to be a station manager working somewhere or a watch manager working somewhere. You'd have thought that they would have thought that through and thought, right, therefore you're going to work here. No, they didn't know what to do. This very senior manager who was getting paid a lot of money didn't know what to do with me. So maybe I'd like to come in the next day and do some photocopying. I said, "No, I don't think so." I said, "I don't want to insult your intelligence." I said, "But I'm a watch manager B. I work at a fire station in charge of a watch. That's where I would like to be. I'd also like to be nearer home. I don't want to be punished any further. I think I've been punished more enough, excessively in my opinion. However, I want to be nearer home if possible, and I don't want to be on the same watch as my husband, so that we see each other occasionally. So if you don't mind, I'd like to be nearer home and not be on the red watch or the green watch. We have 4 watches, red, white, green and blue." So the next day I was that evening I was rung up and asked would I like to work at White Watch Paddington. Fine. And that's where I've been ever since. And I have a lovely time. I actually think I'm a better manager having been a station manager as a watch manager. Obviously that's only my opinion. And also I do like riding the fire engines. That it makes sense. That's what we do. We go out and we meet the public, we solve problems, we sort situations out for people. Sometimes it can be sad, and sometimes it can be exhilarating, but it's also very satisfying. So I'm happy at work, I'm happy in the workplace, I just don't like essentially what's happening. So although I did get into trouble, sort of that's all over with now. And so the commissioner, who, you know, he has his job to do, I know. There are all these people that are senior managers. It's a difficult job, you know. You're put under a lot of pressure. You have to agree to all sorts of things if you want to succeed in those positions. I'm reasonably sympathetic because I have to work with these people as well, and sometimes I need to get them to support me as well, because whilst all this is going on, people are still under the cosh and getting disciplined and stuff, so where I can I try and help with that, and that's it really. You know, just try and do what we can to stop, you know, what's happening to us, I suppose.
Is there more protests planned at those